When change comes, it can take the feet away from the best of us. This video, I'm going to be talking about a few of the ways that we can regain who we are and what our identity is. In other videos, I've spoken about how change and life transitions, they often don't come one at a time. And my own experience of it is that whilst one change might end up with you being a bit unsettled, we can quite often cope with it. But when there are others that happen, career changes, redundancy, retirement, children leaving and what have you, we're left with this feeling of, well, what is it I do? Who am I? We lose a sense of identity. We might not have realised that at the time, but if you've ever had one of those times when the day or the week or whatever just looms ahead of you, a lot of that is to do with we no longer have the same routine. We no longer have to do the little things, the day-to-day things, because we're no longer in that role. And so we do eventually start to think, well, who am I? What identity do I have? How do I identify? What is my role in this life? And that can get surprisingly heavy. And it's one of the things that can really make changes in life transitions, so difficult to deal with. The first thing to look at when we start feeling pressure and anxiety or stress or depression from life changes, the first thing to look at is to try and get a sense of perspective. Now, this might be easier said than done, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, a lot of people know how much I like things like mindfulness and journaling and so on. But getting words out, getting it onto a journal lets you get a sense of perspective, because when you've written it out, you're seeing it more, you read it back, you get more of a sense of where it is. And when you get that perspective, it helps an awful lot. It really does help an awful lot. You can, and again, I'll talk from experience on this. When I've done that sort of thing, getting that idea of, well, actually this is what it is. This is the boundary around it. This is what it actually means, getting a handle on it. And by having that handle on it, all of a sudden you have the ability to start chipping away and making things better. One of the other things to do with that is talking to someone. I've said that in another video as well, but talking to someone like a therapist, counsellor or a coach, someone like myself, talking to someone brings things into perspective, and it's a really good way of dealing with this. Going on from the talking to someone, trying to build some kind of support network for yourself. Sometimes when changes hit us, those changes can take away the support network that we had before, the ability just to have a wee word with someone. It might not be that you share all the details of your life. Some of us do, some of us don't. But it might be that just that chance to say how bad the traffic was, whether dinner was good, what you've been watching on TV, that support network, that ability to have that casual conversation can drop away. So looking at ways of rebuilding that support network. And this follows on from the talking thing as well. So you have the more, I'll call it formal, but it doesn't necessarily have to be formal. You've got that more formal talking therapies like coaches and therapists and counsellors, but the everyday connections, the micro connections, getting out, they can disappear. So looking at ways, and it can take a wee while, looking at ways that you can start to rebuild them. And it might be with new people, which can be a scary thing. It can really be a scary thing. But even if it is, looking at ways, what's your comfortable way into it? Is it something that you've done before? For instance, taking on a part-time job that might take a few of the skills that you have already? Is it maybe even taking a class in something that you've always wanted to do? Maybe you had tried it before, and maybe it's just for fun. But doing things like that, volunteering, charity work, anything that starts to get you doing things, and routines become so important in this as well. And that really helps that building the network, the support network again. And from that as well, we can then start looking at, and this isn't, oh, you do this, do that, do the next thing, but one of the things that builds from that as well is self-care, looking after yourself. So we're talking sleep routines, we're talking nutrition, making sure that you're still staying active. Because if you notice that more and more you're staying in bed a bit longer, or, well, things can be done tomorrow, I can get the car washed next week, whatever. If you start to notice these things, then your motivation and your get up and go can start to go. And that's self-care as well. So looking at all the things about self-care and making sure you're okay is a really important thing to do. And it is one of those things that can start to slip really easily. At the end of the day, when we retire, or even in redundancy, it's very tempting and very welcoming and a lovely thing to do to start having the odd long lie. But when that starts getting every day and the long lies start getting a bit longer and longer, and by the time you get up, well, is it really worth starting anything? We have to be careful about these things. From self-care, I'm also going to lead on to self-compassion. Sometimes the two get mixed up, but they are different. Self-care is more the physical things, the routines we do to look after ourselves, even though there might be a bit of mental health involved in that as well. It is the things that we can do to help ourselves. Self-compassion is the things to show a bit of love back to ourselves, to be easy with ourselves, not to blame ourselves, show some forgiveness. Now, I'm not going to go into self-compassion just now. That's a volume of videos to itself. But one of the things I've recommended in sessions to many, many clients, and many have said that it's worked, is Kirsten Neff's self-compassion workbook. She has a self-compassion book, but also the self-compassion workbook for you. If you feel that some self-compassion would help you, that's definitely a place to start. It's not a big book, it's not a heavy book, it's something that's easy to get through, and that's definitely one. There are other books, a lot of people recommend them. In fact, if you've got a favourite book that's helped with that, please stick it in the comments. I know many people through group sessions and coaching sessions, reading in books in this sort of area is a really popular thing to do. So if you've got any to share, please stick them in the comments. I'd love to see them. There might be some I haven't looked, not guaranteeing it I've read everything, but sometimes I feel as if I've bought everything, but I might not have read it. But stick it in the comments, that'd be pretty cool. So just going back a little bit, when life changes happen, when those transitions happen, and remember that transition is a movement to something. You're moving towards something or away from something else. So it shows that there can be progress and things do move on. You are not stuck in stasis. You are not stuck in the same place forever. The world doesn't need to move on without you. You can move on in your way and still fit into the world, still be important and feel important, and still get something out of it. Hopefully some of the things I've spoken about in this video will help you figure a few things out for yourself. If there's anything that you want help with, please feel free to get in touch with me. Put something in the comments. I would love to hear how you've coped with these things as well. Or if you want to get in touch with me, go through the website or leave a message. Even if you can't find me in one way or another, leave a message in one of the comments to say please get in touch, and I will. Okay? Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it helps. Please, the usual, like, subscribe, all that kind of thing, and I'll be back with another video next week. Thanks very much. All the best. Bye.